Hey, thank you for joining me today. I got my dad helping me test out this Allagash North Sky. It's a stout. Not a stout drinker, so we're just going to use 2 glasses and whoa, I got these new coasters.
Hardcore pub.
Hardcore pub coasters.
They're hardcore, they're wood.
Since 1995 from Maine. You probably never had a Maine beer before.
I hadn't had a stout beer before either.
Well, there's a first time for everything. See, I went from...
Looks like that's chocolate. Is it
Look
chocolate?
at that. Perfect. Got, went from light beers to these. These are my favorites. These are different flavor than light beer, but
You know, I see you on here and you talk about sniffing the aroma. There is an aroma in that.
it's an, you know, and it's not a standard beer aroma. It's I like it. North Sky. This is 7.5% alcohol. Smooth, roasted, and silky. And that's one flavor that I like about the stouts is it's roasty. You can definitely taste it when you take a sip. It's hello, Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Different than a regular beer, a
They're
beer that you
much
normally
different.
drink.
Yeah, much different.
So you see, these beers aren't like you're not going to sit down and drink 6 of these.
You know,
I mean, I'm sure somebody somewhere would, but these are much stronger flavor, and they're sipping. They're
is
sippers.
that why they're called stout? Is because they're...
I don't know why they call them stout, but I'll tell you what, move out the way. It's a sipping flavor. These are good wintertime beers.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Like I was the weirdo drinking these in the summertime a few years ago till recently getting turned on to the IPAs, which are you even familiar with what an IPA is?
No.
They got a lot of citrusy flavors,
Mm.
which makes them go good in the hot summer sun.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You say this was from Maine?
I think it said Maine with love. Allagash. I guess it's
Yeah.
Allagash Brewing. Yeah. It's a super sippable stout, it says. Inspired by late evenings spent around a crackling campfire.
Well, it's definitely a sipping beer. And
It
I
is.
don't know beers, but
See,
it's
'cause
not like any beer I've ever had.
nowadays having a beer is all I do. Just a beer. I say if you drink lighter beers, some people are going to drink 6 of them, one right after the other. These, nah. And these actually get good when they warm up. So you don't even have to worry about drinking it fast. They can start warming up in the glass. Sometimes when they get to a certain warmness, more flavor comes out.
Hmm. So it's like European beer. They drink warm beer in a lot of places. Probably most places.
Yeah, some of the reviewers that I watch when they're having a stout, they pour it and it's cold out of the refrigerator, but they say, I'm going to let it warm up a bit. They shut the camera off and then they come back later and drink it and finish off the review. I don't have the patience for that. Just keep sipping it till it's done.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that. I think somebody could get used to a sipping beer. I've never heard of a sipping beer.
Yeah, and all these crazy different kind of beers now, because in the old day beer was just beer.
Yeah.
But now there's like breakfast beer. And who'd ever thought of having a beer for breakfast?
Well, I don't know much about it, but I hear about these microbreweries, and they're always coming up with different flavors and tastes and whatever in their beers.
Yeah. So those, like a lot of these craft beers, if I had a lighter one to pour in there, I tell you, they're kind of a little hazy, cloudy looking stuff. But the macros, the big beer breweries like Budweiser and Coors and all that, those are all crystal clear. They're like filtered and filtered and filtered, so you can see through them. Because once upon a time, being able to see through the beer meant it was quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it was a little hazy, then that meant, ooh, something's a little bit off with this beer. This is not going to be good. But now I like chunky beers. I've had plenty of chunky beers, and my chunkiest one was a Japanese beer.
Chunky is Big pieces in it?
Big pieces in
Really?
it. There was all kinds of stuff stuck in the head and the foam, and then if you hold it up to the light, you could see there's. I mean, I'm not talking little pieces. I'm talking, and it's called I don't know what the Japanese word was. I can't remember, but it's something nest beer. So I'm like, what does that even mean? Because it almost looks like there's chopped up bird nest in the beer. That's how chunky it was. Nest beer was just probably like, you know, in the mining days in this country in the old days where they found gold somewhere, so the mining company would set up a town. They'd build it out in the middle of nowhere, and there'd be a grocery store and a, you know, hospital or whatever, and everybody lived right there. But then, of course, they paid you in company script, and the only place you could spend it was in their store. So basically, they got you to work for them. They paid you in money that you could only spend in their store, so you gave your money right back to them.
Yeah.
That was back in the old days. That would never
Well,
fly
it still
nowadays.
goes on in the copper mines out west. Yeah. See, this is one thing that used to get me as I watched your previous reviews. When I see it that dark, I think it's got to be chocolate, and it's definitely not.
Yeah, this one, I don't smell chocolate, and I don't really taste
I
it.
don't know.
There are a lot of them that are, like, my favorite ones are the chocolate peanut butter ones.
Yeah. What makes it dark, I don't know, but
They roast them malts.
maybe that's where a lot of it comes from. You can taste it, whatever it is roasted.
Yeah, see, this says it has light notes of fruit and sweetness with roasty malt. So, different malts give it different flavor. There are, you know, chocolate malts that gives it a little chocolatey flavor. Some of them actually have chocolate in it, but like the hops, those are, you know, the hop, different hops give it different flavors. So, sometimes they look like orange juice and taste like orange juice, but it's the hop they use.
Well, I don't know who's out there watching this, but explain to me what the hard pour is against what, soft pour? Soft pour, you don't have a big head, is that right?
Yeah, everybody from the beginning of time they start drinking it, they pour it down the side of the glass. But where'd they learn that from? Probably somebody else was doing it that way because they thought that it was
Hand me down.
Yeah, so I get comments on my videos about pouring it that way, and it's like, I say I'm not in any hurry. So when I pour it, I don't need to drink it right then and there. If I pour it and it gets a huge head, I just let it settle down.
It'll settle, yeah.
I'd say I'll let it work itself out in the glass. It doesn't last forever, and you get this. See, you know, you get nice lacing on there. Which people might say, well, you can't drink that. So what's the point? And when I did my review on why I pour beer hard, I used the same bottle and I poured it 2 different ways, and it just looked like, you know, at the end of the night, it's probably been a long time since you've been out to a bar or a club, but
A long time.
at the end of the night, they're getting ready to close, the lights come on, and it looks like a beer, fresh poured, but it looks like a beer somebody left on the bar and they didn't finish drinking it because there's like no head. It's just sitting there looking all sad, and this looks like this. This just looks more inviting.
Well, this didn't take long for the head to go down.
No. And a lot of the stouts, when you pour them, they don't. I mean, some of them get a big head, some of them don't. Some of them tell you, like the nitro stouts, they tell you to pour them hard because they're carbonated differently. So you got to pour it hard to get that nitrogen. And it's magical to watch as you see the little tiny bubbles forming, and then they float up. And
So not all stouts are dark like this, or they are?
I did a Betty White stout. That's a white stout. They taste a little different. That one tasted more vanilla, no chocolate. Said there was chocolate in it, but it was tasted like vanilla. I got another one in the fridge. I'll have to let you take a sip of it.
I can't believe how that keeps its original odor from when you poured it now.
It's nice. I like it. Allagash North Star. I think this was $13.99 or $12.99 for a 4-pack, but you know what? They're a 4-pack of pints. And sometimes people look at that and say, oh, that's too expensive for 4 beers. Well, if you go out to a bar and order a beer, you're not getting it for $1. I mean...
Well, let's say you get it for $1. It would take 4 beers to line up to one of these, and yet this will last you long.
Oh, yeah. 7.5% alcohol. This is like getting 2 beers in one can if you drink a a Bud Light or something, but it's 16 ounces and not 12, so it's almost like getting 3 beers for the price of, you know. But trust me, this tastes better. All
Well, I
right.
don't want to talk out of line, but years ago I got real sick and we had to go get somebody into water. And he brought me out a Budweiser, which I don't like. And I drank that Budweiser and got instantly well. So,
I just did one for the Super Bowl Budweiser, and I drank more Budweiser than I ever wanted to in Japan. I never wanted another one, but I had to do a Budweiser Bud Light for the Super Bowl. And as it turned out, I was the one who got to drink Bud Light for the review, but for the editing process, I drank the Budweisers, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. It's it's got rice. That's the grain they use is rice. It wasn't as bad as I remembered, but I do prefer these. They're my favorite.
well, I can understand why you do several different testing on beers. Beer's like bread. You think bread is bread and beer is beer, but
Yeah.
there's differences. Yep.
Yep. I like it.
Well, I'm not a beer drinker anymore, but I like to watch your reviews because you learn a lot just listening.
Yeah. It's just trying to get people to break out of their comfort zone and try something new.
Yeah. Well,
Haven't
and I
tried
don't
the-
know if this is available to everybody in a grocery store or a liquor store wherever they live. That might be a problem.
Yeah. So this is from Maine. We're in Georgia. I hope you can get it.
And you bought it in Georgia.
Bought it in Georgia.
Okay.
Yep. So hopefully you can get it. If you can find it, get it.
Yeah.
Won't be disappointed. It's you think it's a little pricey, but you get what you're paying for. So
Yeah, that's true.
don't let it turn you off. Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you
My
next
pleasure
time.
to be here.
Till then.